I'm Ryan Gifford, and this is Gifford Fabrication.
All right, this is just a short video to talk about reorienting the servo in the grit automation gate actuator package to accommodate a 2.5-inch gate. So Grit has redesigned or upscaled their gate actuating package. They're using a bigger, heavier gauge servo and a redesigned housing. They also include this guide rod that bolts onto the bottom of the gate and is used with this gate slide orientation bearing, I guess. This piece here, this L bracket, mounts to the gate, and as the gate arm, which isn't shown here, as the gate arm is tied into the gate and slides open, that bearing will slide up and down this rod to basically focus the energy to help the gate move more cleanly and with a little bit more power. But this is really designed for a 4-inch gate, which you see a lot of, and I have several in the shop, but I have a lot of 2.5-inch gates, and so you're able to use the same package on the 2.5-inch gate as shown here as on the 4-inch gate. It just, the servo needs to be reoriented. So the servo arm here, shown with the drive gear towards the rear of the bracket, will work as expected with a 4-inch gate. The arm comes off here and ties into this hat washer and allows it to actuate. But with a 2.5-inch gate, the drive arm needs to be, or the drive gear needs to be reoriented forward on the package. So that's just an orientation change of taking the servo out, rotating it 180 degrees, and putting it back in. But there is a little bit of a challenge. There's a little bit of a step to it. So I made this video just to kind of show how that works. I have it on the gate for orientation purposes. I'm going to remove it real quick, which is very easy to do. Just remove these two nuts. I have to excuse my right hand. I have some nerve damage that makes this a little bit challenging sometimes. So the servo comes off, the servo package comes off. There's the mounts for the rod. These screw out, and that rod is allowed to shift to make orientation for a longer gate to push it up here. So within the servo package, to start with, we need to remove these 4 screws and really just back them off. They're only threaded into plastic, so especially when you retighten them, you want to be really careful about not overdriving them. I am going to use a driver to remove them just because they're long threaded screws, but you got to be careful. You don't want to put too much torque on this or you'll strip them out. Okay, with those removed, or at least backed off, we can missed one. We can remove this bottom portion of the assembly, and that's what houses the board. You can see the board right there. This is a diffuser. This white piece is actually clear or opaque. It's a diffuser for the LED. So now we need to remove the screws on top that hold the actual servo in place. So once again, to get it started, I'm going to use a driver. There's a little bit of a caution here. There's captured Nylox nuts in the bottom. So if you just turn this kind of face down or face up, I guess, and just back them all the way out, you might lose those nuts. So I backed them off just a little bit. This is a different size drive head as well, but they're both metric. And then if you turn this upside down and you remove the screws, then you can just push out the servo. Okay? And all that needs to happen with the servo is it needs to be rotated 180 degrees. Now there is a little bit of a catch right here. I don't know if you can see it. There's some strain relief built into the wires. That strain relief has a small cutout right there for the 4-inch orientation, but when you get into the 2.5 orientation, there is no cutout. So really all you have to do is you just have to put a little bit of pressure downwards, a little bit, be gentle, on that strain relief, and you're trying to get this edge right here to pop through the bracket. A little bit of pressure and it'll pop right through, just like that. So now it's reoriented, and now we just have to put all the pieces back together. So once again, I'm gonna start these by hand because I don't want to over tighten anything. Darn hand. And get these kind of in place. Now I'm going to go back and just hand tighten them. They're just anchoring the servo, and they don't really need a ton of torque. You do want them snug. And then we're going to remount the board, the box that holds the board. Come on. It has the green power adapter has to nestle down into a slot in there. And then the diffuser goes on. And it all goes back together. So the power adapter goes towards the back, so back here of the servo package, if this is the front. And then I'm just gonna start these all by hand. Once again, I don't want to overdrive these because it's just threaded into plastic and you'll destroy it. So it's just not working real well with my hand the way it is. So I use the driver to just get them part of the way in or most of the way in without tightening them. And you notice I left them with a little bit of gap there, and then I'll just go back and tighten them down by hand. These don't get any torque placed on them during operation. They're literally just there to hold this box and the diffuser against the servo package. So they don't need to be all that tight. They should just be hand tight. You don't want to over tighten them because you risk stripping them out. So there it is, reassembled with the drive gear now forward. And if I put this back on the gate, and just snug these down. Then I would add the bearing back onto it and secure this L bracket to the actual gate plate, and then the whole thing's ready to go back in service. So that's a short video on how to reorient the servo from the 4-inch grit gate actuator to be used on a 2.5-inch gate. Hopefully that's helpful for somebody, and thanks for watching.